What's up, Squadron? Aviation has given me a ton of amazing experiences.
Good job there. Nice rock, high wing.
But more importantly, it's introduced me to a whole new family of friends.
Like, dude, you're killing it. You're having a great day.
So just never give up.
Airport, and then, oh, by the way, I got carb ice while I was flying through, so the engine started running rough. And I had to
Join us tonight as we're cleared direct for some hangar flying. I am Bryon Bowman, and this is SuperAero Live.
That's a lot. I mean, a lot of cookies. What's up, Av Geeks? It's Wednesday, which can only mean one thing. It's time for another episode of SuperAero Live. I'm laughing because thanks to my Patreon supporters, I have a new chair, and it's like it's very comfortable now that I'm used to it. But I'm like, it's like throwing off my vibe. Like it feels, dude. I don't know what to do with myself. It's a new chair. What? Anyway, excited to have a great show tonight. Gotta say hi to a couple of you in the chat. Brad Bloom's there. Yo, peeps. What's up, Brad? Zach Sherman, Freedom Fixer Flying. He did a big, go check his YouTube channel out after this. He just did a big trip, I think. He was posting some big trip stuff. Brian Garrett's here. Jason Follas. Krueger's here. Fly Chucky Fly. 782 Papa. James Hyatt. Sarah Clucky's here. I know that her son is a big fan of tonight's guest, so that's really cool. Anyone talking smack in the chat? Anyway, so great to see all of you. So great to see all of you in the chat. I don't even know what you're talking about. Scarface is here. Love you, Scarface. Love that name every time I see it. Nick Lambert's here. Clayton Starwalt's here. Everyone is here. Guys, gals, so excited for the show tonight. Before, maybe a good segue, actually, before we talk about our guest tonight, is that I'm going to be at Outlaw STOL next weekend. Going to be announcing for National STOL down in Somerton, Arizona. If you're in the area, one, if you're a pilot, you should compete if you're proficient. And two, you should come say hello. Make sure to come say hello to us and all the STOL pilots. It's going to be cool. I've never been to that part of the desert before. Like, the wall is right there. It's going to be a big trip. It's a big trip. Excited to go. Are there going to be scorpions? I'm a little freaked out. Anyway, one person who I think is going to be there is this guy. Check it out. I didn't set up the camera right. There he is, Austin Clemens.
How are you?
Well, other than that, wait, I gotta check. We'll do really good. Is this gonna work? No, that didn't work either. Let's fix that real quick. You're not a long-haired woman, Austin.
I don't think so.
What's going on with that? This is a real professional thing we're doing here. There you are. He's a real boy. I promise. There we go. It's all professional. Professional video
I
thing.
wouldn't say that.
Yeah. Austin, dude, I'm so excited that you had the time. You're calling us right now from your hotel room because you are on your way to Copper State.
Yep.
So what's going on at Copper State?
This weekend, Copper State, it's going to be an air show, and they're doing STOL drag there, so I'll be there for 3 days doing STOL drag.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we got Kevin Quinn and all the STOL drag dudes have been on the show before. And then after that, you're just hanging out and just hopping over to Outlaw?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know a couple of my buddies, Jeff Pohl, Colin Kneva, a bunch of those guys. I think we're just going to play around for a couple days, and we're going to head to Yuma, or the National STOL competition.
Yeah, it's just outside of... It's like weird. It's like the Yuma air base or whatever is like where we're going to be is like off the end of one of the runways. It's like, I don't even know how they get away with that, but that's where we'll be. Under F-18s, hopefully.
I watched some videos on, I think it was last year, they did an event there, but it wasn't with National STOL, so I really didn't pay attention. mean,
Well, there
I
you
don't
go.
pay attention to every STOL event, but
Yeah. So, okay. People have a lot of questions. Everyone, put your questions in the chat for Austin as we chat tonight. But we always start the show with the origin story. Very curious to learn about how you found aviation.
how I found aviation. Well, my whole family's in aviation. My dad, he was a test pilot at Beechcraft for 18 years, and then he met my mom, and then she's a pilot. She was a test pilot at Beech. So then they had me, and then they bought an airport, Stearman Field. They built it, and then I grew up at that airport, Stearman Field, and my brother and sister and me are all in aviation, and we have our own business, Clemens Aviation. We manage jets, and then basically I just grew up in aviation, loved it. I fly every day, and I thrive for aviation.
Yeah, and like it's funny, right? Like my buddy Nick Moore, you know Nick Moore, Gravity Images. Yep. I mentioned to him that you were going to be on the show tonight, and he's like, "Oh, I got some pictures of Austin." And I was like, okay, like, what are they gonna look like? But like this is your day to day hanging out at Stearman Field, like doing cool stuff in Cubs. Everyone knows I love the Cub. It's my favorite.
J3 Cubs, best airplane out there.
I think just for funsies, you should show up to one of the STOL events in a J3 instead of your Husky, which we're gonna talk about your Husky in a minute. But I just think it would be fun to watch everyone's minds be blown.
Because if you really think about it, the J3 is what started everything with like tail draggers and Cubs. And like right now, Cubs and Super Cubs and Carbon Cubs, they're all exploding. And then all the J3 is just a really modified, or all a Super Cub is just a modified J3.
That's true.
Like,
yeah. So this is like one of the shots that Nick sent me. I wanted to show you. Let me make sure I got it up here. Well, that's cool too. That's a cool shot. Just hanging out in the J3.
I was like 12 in that picture.
This is the one that he sent me, and he said that this was your first solo.
Yep.
So you did your first solo in the Husky you're competing in?
Yep. When I was 16, that was my 16th birthday right there.
What a crazy day. It's a crazy day. What everyone talks about, like what they remember something from their first solo. Like what's your one little memory from that?
Well, it was a freezing day. We just, as you can see, there's snow on the ground. It just snowed in Kansas overnight, and boy, my dad trusted me. I probably soloed with probably at least 300 hours. I flew a lot with my mom and dad and brother and sister in the back seat, so I had a lot of time. My dad always logged my time. He's a CFI, and I don't know. He just said, "Yeah, you're gonna like it a lot," because I always played with STOL and stuff, but. So when I took off, it was just a rocket ship because I didn't have my dad in the back seat. It's cool air, and it just ripped.
Yeah, I mean, it's one heck of a plane to do a first solo in, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Since we're in the photo section of the show, there's this other one that you and I were joking about before we started, and that's this one.
Yep.
And I was just saying, like, dang, man, that's a sweet shot of you and the Stearman.
Yep.
Talk to me about, like, the flying time that you... sorry, you were joking separately. You're like, oh, like, some of the old-timers don't like this photo. But I think it's cool.
Everybody says I'm side-loading it and hurting it, but you can't tell in the photo, but it's perfectly fine.
No, I think you can totally tell that it's fine. Look, there's no like the tire is perfectly straight.
Right. I'm in a right turn. I do like snake slithers down the runway, on one tire, I pick a tire up, and I go right, and I pick it up, I go left, and he got me in a pretty hard right turn where I was about to pick it up.
Nick just commented in the chat. He just said, Austin's elephant walk.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit. I mean, you fly. Well, there's two types of flying you're doing, right? You're doing the flying that in the tail draggers, the J3 Stearman, your Husky. We're gonna talk about the STOL stuff in a little bit. Is that all, like, would you say you and your family are like tail dragger, like exclusive people, or is it just what you've gravitated to?
Oh no, I just tail wheels are the fun airplanes. You can't really make a living off. Well, you can for sure off tail draggers and stuff, but we kind of went in the management business. Or my dad, he really took off in the management business, and
No pun intended.
Yeah, so Clemens Aviation, we manage we have 18 beach jets, which are identical, and we mod them. We have our own maintenance shop. We do interiors, G5000, Garmin, and winglets. We deck these old airplanes out and make them brand new airplanes again, and then we sell shares. So that's our main thing. We have I'd say we have 30 pilots that work for us. So we're starting to be a pretty big company, and that's what we mainly do nowadays.
Gotcha. So you guys are doing all that managed work. Are you flying like professionally on that end as well then?
Yep. So during the week, right now I just moved into the beach jet. I have 150 hours in it in the right seat. So I'm just getting right seat time until I get typed, and then I'll be captain.
That's awesome. Are you looking? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you're looking forward to that. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah. The jet world is crazy.
I was just thinking about it, right? Because you flying the Husky from where you guys are out to Arizona. I guess not that huge of a trip compared to like someone who would like in Florida or something. But it's a faster bush plane, but it's not. You're not flying like a Cub, but it's still not a jet.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I flew down here last week, and it took me 7 hours. It wasn't too bad. 2 fuel stops, 7 hours. It wasn't that bad, but my sister left 3 hours later in the day in a jet, and she beat me there. So, jets are
did you
insane.
See her on ADS-B, like way up above you? Or?
I haven't got ADS-B in my. I don't have ADS-B in yet in my Husky, so.
All right, I won't tell anybody.
She was tracking me.
That's awesome.
I have out, but I don't have in.
So, okay, so let's talk about the STOL stuff for a second here. I want to talk about this. Actually, when we go to the chat, a couple people are saying, they said perfect crosswind landing is what that Stearman shot looks like. And then Nick is defending you in the chat because Waukesha Pilot's like, did the wing hit the ground? And Nick says, absolutely not. A couple people wondering how old you are. That probably comes up a lot.
I'm 18 years old.
So this picture here is only 2 years old. This, not this one. I don't know when this was taken. This one. That's 2 years ago.
Yep.
So, and we met last year, I think, at Sun and Fun. So you were 17, tearing it up then?
Yeah. Yeah, it should have been. Yeah.
You and I are like, can we do basic math?
Yeah. No, I cannot. I'm just a pilot.
So I mean, you made waves a little bit, and you're very humble about it. That year, and watching you in the circuit, right? Like, as an announcer, we always play up how young you are. because it's a
Right.
good story. I don't know if you get frustrated or irritated by it, but it is something special. I'm curious. I mean, obviously, you already explained part of the story, right? You're in terms of like, well, hey, like, put in a lot of time flying with my mom and my dad, right?
Oh,
You're
yeah,
getting
for
used
sure.
to that stuff. When did you make the transition to deciding to compete? Because this is the other side of it. I'll show the pictures while you talk about it.
Well, this is the thing. I only played like one sport, and a lot of soccer when I was growing up, and I didn't really play it much. I hated sports. I just like to ride my dirt bike and fly airplanes. I was too little to fly airplanes then, so I fly my Husky every day after school, and I land in my yard, and I don't know. I'm just demolish our airport. I make so much noise. It's so much fun in the evenings. And I asked my dad if we could go to Lakeland, Florida in the wintertime in December. It was freezing in Kansas. So he was like, yeah, let's go. And I was like, well, you need to practice. And so he got a yard or a tape measure, and we walked the distance out, and we just started playing with it, and I got pretty good. So then I went to the first event and won it, and then I got hooked.
And what was that first one? What was that first one?
That was the first Florida Classic.
Oh, the one I missed.
Yeah, I don't know.
I missed that one. So, and now you're hooked, and now I think you've been to every event that I've been to. I think you've been to every one, right? At least for National STOL, and I know you're doing STOL drags too now.
Yep.
What? I'm curious about. I'm curious about a lot of things, but wondering a little bit about, like, was the Husky the choice just because it's what you were already flying?
I wouldn't say that, because I would have already switched.
Okay, that's fair.
I would have, for sure, I would have already switched if I didn't like it. Just because, I don't know, I have to not calling myself good, but there's not many Husky pilots that can make that airplane fly really good. And land short, take off short, and just make the airplane look good.
Well, and it's separately.
And that's what I like about it, because it's a really big, heavy airplane, and I like to make it look good.
Talk to me a little bit about, like, what's special about it for you as a STOL competitor.
What the mainly special thing it's my favorite part. It's certified. Well, it's not my favorite part, but it's the safest part for me, and that's what it sucks to do competitions and not be able to just not be able to make whatever you want, but it's certified and it's safe, and I'm very comfortable flying over the mountains and being fine. I don't have to trailer my airplane there.
Sure. That was a little bit of I know that was a little bit of a competitive flex.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, like, for STOL drag, I'm flying over 1,000 miles in one day, and then I land, and then I normally win. We'll see. And I'm with the trailered guys. I'm close to the same time as the guys who trailer the airplane. Right. Yeah.
There one of the things that people ask us a lot about when we're in the announcer's booth is the fact that you've got the reversible pitch prop on it.
Yep.
I will say that I want you to answer this question, but I will say preemptively that does not always guarantee victory for you. It's not like a silver bullet. And I guess the reason I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that, because you were describing to me what it's like to try to use it, and, like, as a pilot, like, I was like, whoa, that's a crap ton of workload.
Well, once you get So basically how the prop works, it's an MT propeller, two blade, really good prop, ultra big leading niche or big leading nickel edge on it. So it's really durable propeller. It cruises good. It's a great propeller. But for the reverse, it's meant for seaplanes, but it says nothing you can put it on wheels and go backwards. So that's what I do. I have it. There's nothing different that you have to do for on floats and on wheels. It's the same system. Anyways, basically to put it in reverse, the RPM has to be under 1100 RPM for it to just engage, and then there's airspeed limitations and all that stuff. So there's a bunch of safety. It's a big safety deal too. So if the engine has to be under 1,000 or 1,200 RPM to go into beta, then I can go full power with it. So I have a deal on my stick where I pull it back and it goes into beta, and then I can go full power. But if it's not under the 1,200 RPM range, it won't work. It'll just rev super high, and it's all messed up after that. But so I really got to focus on getting the RPMs low for it to work.
So obviously then the twofold advantage, right, is in STOL drag, you're using it to stop before you do the pivot around to that's basically helping you slow down. And then similarly on national STOL, you're heavily putting on the brakes to try to shorten that landing distance.
Exactly.
Is there any disadvantage? I mean, obviously there's like if you kind of described, like if you do it wrong or if you like mistime it, is there any other like competitive risk to using it, or is it mostly just an extra thing you need to think about? It's expensive.
It's really it's more than an average prop, but
so
that's
don't
about it. I mean,
don't prang it.
No, don't. And I have, but I didn't damage it. We'll probably talk about that, but it's okay.
No, I wasn't gonna bring it up. You brought it up. I wasn't gonna bring it up.
No, it's pretty cool.
I mean that happened in a STOL drag competition, or when was that?
Yeah, that happened in Reno. I put it on its nose. So I was racing a guy in a kit box, really souped up. He has a YouTube channel. Shoot, he's a dealer for Behringer Brakes. Can't believe I don't know his name right now.
Someone in the chat will figure it out.
He built a beautiful kit box. Anyways, I was racing him, and he has a 360 Insta360 view of me flipping, and we're racing. It was a pretty good race, and I came in really hot. I wasn't using beta because I didn't want to tear it up, and it was just practice that day. So we were just, practicing. And the one end of the course was asphalt, just broke up asphalt. It was rocky. That was fine. The other end of the course was desert, like sand mounds and sand pits and then little brush everywhere. So anyways, we get back to the finish line, and I'm going really fast. I land perfect, do everything perfect. And I'm, when you're bouncing across the desert really quick, I had 850s on. That's another thing. That's what really got me to flip. So I had little tires on. I was going fast with a tailwind. And when you're bouncing across those the desert, like going that fast, you have to add brakes. I wasn't using beta, so you have to add brakes. I locked up my tires, basically. And a lot of sand built up in front of the tires.
Oh, no.
And I thought I would stop, but I wasn't. And I went to let go of the brakes, and I kept going over. But I got lucky enough. I shut the mags off because I knew I couldn't save it. It just barely tilted on its nose. I jumped out. Fire and rescue was there in less than a minute. We put my tail down, took it back to the pit, inspected everything, and that's it.
And it's just, if it was that thing in NASCAR, it's not rubbing, it's not racing. Rubbing is racing, or
Yeah,
whatever
for
they
sure.
say. Couldn't tell I watch a lot of NASCAR.
Yeah.
People in the chat are guessing, was it Bryon Bowman?
Yes, Bryon Bowman. That's him.
See? Everyone, it's so helpful to have a chat.
Yep.
You can help
That's
us out.
pretty cool.
Project Kit Fox.
Yep, that's him.
So, so like that's a thing. Like, I guess like the reason why people get so excited about, and I don't know if you need another person to tell you, but like for the folks at home, right? It's like 18-year-old Reno racer, competitive, like first place at Central Florida Classic recently, right?
Yep, that too.
You got a giant prop trophy. This is like you're definitely like always competitive.
Yeah.
When you're out there, is there what's next for you competitively in STOL?
Not
Anything
really
you can
much.
share? Top secret stuff, or?
I just try to make it to every event I can. I'm at every STOL event. So, not only I do my best to make every STOL event.
Yeah, and I think that's the other really cool thing is that you're there to show people what you can do and what the Husky can do. And that thing you said earlier about like, what did you say? Like flying it pretty? Like what were you talking about? Like what? Because it's a bigger, heavier airplane. Like you're like
It is.
putting some finesse on it.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh, I lost you. Can you hear me? You can hear me. I can't hear you. What happened to you, Austin? What happened? What did you do? It says you muted yourself. Unmute yourself. It's still muted. For once, normally I'm like the old guy working at technology, this young whippersnapper. No, I think it's something switched on the thing. It says it says guest has muted themselves. And he's gone. He's going to be coming back. Throw your questions. He's ringing in right now. Throw your questions in the chat for Austin. Want to chat more about him, National STOL Drag, and the... I can hear you. We fixed it. We did it.
Somebody called me and then it just paused.
Oh, gotcha. No sweat. So a couple questions. People are guessing on the model of the prop. Is it the MTV 15?
Yeah,
Is that
Ultra.
Ultra. There you go, Freedom Fixer.
MT Ultra.
Is it
the 15? I don't know.
And then people are asking about the function of that. It's like a classic, like like mechanically driven variable pitch, right?
Constant speed prop. Yep.
Like classic that way. Sarah Clucky's got a question for you. She wants to know, do you ever want to fly for the airlines?
Nope. I just have no... I don't know. Maybe someday, but I don't know. Like today I was riding the airlines and I just couldn't stand it, so I don't think I could do it. I mean, yeah, it'd be fun, but it's just not my type of flying. I do... The jets are fun, but they're just not general aviation fun. I mean, if I could stay in general aviation, I'm staying in general aviation.
Well, I mean, you may have as the STOL sports grow, maybe that'll just become the full-time gig, right? Like,
right. I mean, yeah, let's do it.
So that was a question. Someone said they were saying. Where did he say it? Someone was asking about like prize money and or whatever for STOL stuff. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that. Oh, Nathan Ballard. He says, probably a dumb question, but is there prize money in STOL competitions?
Yep. So, National STOL will sometimes do it. STOL Drag does it. Yeah, I mean, you win something, at least a trophy. And
at least
really
a sweet belt
winning.
buckle.
Right, exactly. It's really not about, like, yeah, first place is pretty damn cool, but I think it's all about the people. I mean, because, like, I've just created really good friends with all these guys here that go to every event. They're like Steve Henry, Jeff Pohl, Colin Keneva. They're just really good guys that go to every event, and then you see them there. It's just a lot really cool, I think. But anyways, about the prize money, it's all in what the sponsors bring, I think. I mean, I know all these guys don't go to the event for prize money because you're flying an airplane there. You ain't gonna win that much. But right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the other thing that's really cool for me to see on the outside, right, is like there's two things. I was talking to Anitra from National STOL, and I made a joke. I was like, Anitra, it's kind of like we're carnies. Like everyone flies into the city, and then we pop up our little like tent thing, and campers show up everywhere, and it's like, boom, competition, have an awesome time, and everyone has an awesome time, and then we just like vaporize. And then we surface somewhere else in the country a few months later or a month later. Talk to me a little about that competitive nature. Like, you're talking, a lot of the guys you were just talking about are like pretty fierce competitors. So, I've seen you like get like competitive, like you're like ready to go, you're ready to win. Like, what's that relationship like?
Well, I don't know. It's fun. You just build relationship with all these guys. I mean, even one event, you can just become so close to them, and like, I don't know, just friendship.
Yeah, no, for sure. One wheel races.
Oh, yeah, seriously.
What you
can just tell how they fly, and I don't know. It's just such good people. All the STOL event, like-minded people, basically.
For sure. Do you? And I would add to that, very welcoming. Like, I felt a little fish out of water the first couple times because I mean, I'm not a STOL pilot really. I'm not doing that stuff, and it's been really cool for everyone to be very welcoming and to like invite me into the group. Kind of makes me feel like a cool. I'm one of the cool kids too, even though I don't actually do it. But what I was going to ask you, I wanted to ask you maybe a little deeper question. I mean, in terms of your flying, like, is there anything that you've learned, on the STOL circuit that you bring into your everyday stuff?
You can't really. I don't know. There's so many little tips you get from each individual that like I look up to, like Steve Henry, and his name is Joe from Arkansas. He's one of the event runners from Arkansas, and he's really taught me a lot. Like, just I don't know how my flying goes. I don't know. It's just each guy, you can pick up something. He'll tell you, hey, you can improve here and here, and you'll tell them the same thing. I mean, it's just kind of I don't know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm just curious because, like, the follow-up question to that is like, if you had advice. I mean, you're obviously, you could, even though you're younger in age, like the amount of hours you have at the controls of an aircraft is like pretty incredibly high. Like, if you had advice for people who, let's say you're talking to me. Like, what, because you are talking to me, what advice would you give me about, like, my flying that once you've, based on your STOL experience?
Right. I mean, for, like, STOL experience?
I'm just saying, like, is there anything specifically, like, if you had to give one piece of advice to a let's call it a younger pilot, because I think I've got, like, I don't know, 200 some hours in Cessnas. I've got a lot of J3 hours too, but like, what piece of advice would you give me based on what you do on the STOL circuit?
Know your airplane. Don't. I don't know. Just. I don't know.
Know your airplane's a good one. That's a good piece of
like,
advice.
My thing is, like, we have 3 airplanes that I fly very frequently, and I never look at the airspeed indicator the whole time, just because I know that wing angle of attack, and I just don't look at airspeed. People are like, "What's your airspeed on landing?" I don't know, just because you can feel the airplane. Just become one. Try to become one with the airplane, and what am I gonna say? Like, practice until you become one with the airplane.
Put in the reps.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Some chat questions I'm looking through here. Oh, here's one. It's not about flying. Ryan Krueger wants to know, when you're not flying, what do you like to do?
Ride dirt bikes, shoot guns, be American.
All at the same time?
No, it could be, you never know.
That's awesome. If you, like, I guess the one question I have a lot of questions, but, like, in terms of where the next, like, 5 years are going for you, like, is it mostly just focusing on STOL and the family company, or what's the next 5 years for you looking like?
Yeah, for sure, family business. I mean, each brother and sister do a part, and I'd like to find my part, and I don't know, just expand, grow. And then with the STOL, just keep doing it. And it's become so much in a year. Like, I did 11 competitions in 1 year. That's pretty cool.
And one of them was Reno.
Yeah, in Oshkosh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we've got you at Oshkosh in here, yeah? Well, I mean, yeah, I'm assuming you're this is Oshkosh right here.
Yep.
Nothing like taxiing by a bunch of porta potties.
Yeah, nothing like it.
I mean, what's that stage like for, I mean, I think I've certainly watched you fly at Oshkosh. Like, is there anything different popping through your head when you're flying around Oshkosh?
Holy shit, that's a lot of people. That's about it.
Nick Moore, thank you so much for the super chat. Nick says, I think this is to you, he says, let's hit up the Flint Hills this spring.
Oh, yeah. He just DM'd me the other day about going to this rock out in the Flint Hills. It's pretty cool.
There you go.
There's wild Mustangs all running around, and it's just a rock out there.
Wild Mustangs?
Cool. Yeah.
You guys have a cooler life than mine.
Well, that's Kansas. That's pretty.
Canyon K says, in a couple of years, you can add drink beer to your list.
I know.
I mean, we don't want to push anything, Canyon K. That's a wait and see type thing. Sarah Clucky asks, will you be at Oshkosh this year for the STOL demo?
Well, we'll see. I haven't heard anything about a STOL demo this year, but if there is one, I'm going to try to be in it.
Jacob Lindsey wants to know, is STOL the limit? What are other aviation to-dos on your list?
Ooh.
That's a good question, Jacob.
Like,
what's your aviation bucket list? Like, what?
I don't know. I really like, it has to do with STOL, but I really like going, I need to find new places, and I need to do more backcountry stuff, because all I do is competitions, and that's nothing compared to like the real bush flying, you know.
Or like
I
the
need
guys
to
that like
fly
hurl
my-
it off a mountain or whatever.
Right. Like it'd be like I really really look up to Greg Miller, if you know who that is.
I think so. Yeah.
Long props, big rocks, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really look up to him. Like, just having that knowledge on where to land and how tight you can get in and out of spots, how rough they are. It's just, I think it's so cool. But I don't know. I got too nice of an airplane to be doing that.
Well, it's made to be used. It's made to be flown.
I know, but it's my dad's.
But here's the thing, and I'll do this. I'll brag for you a little bit. Like we were at the Central Florida Classic, and your plane was in the shop, and you were in a different Husky, and you like mopped the floor with everybody.
I wouldn't say mop the floor, but I'd clean the plate.
Who's your sorry, some people in the chat. Jago wants to know, like, is there any specific plane that you haven't flown that you want to fly yet?
My dad's having an RV-8 built. It's really close to being done. So I think he's going to have me do the first flight and all the test flights on it. So that'd
Awesome.
be fun.
That's super cool. RV-8.
Yeah.
I got a model of it. You can't see it back there. There's an RV-8 back there somewhere.
It's a hot rod.
Dude, it's pretty. They're so pretty.
Well, we're going to try to make it as pretty as we can, but
Hashtag not a sponsor. Connie's in the chat now. Hey, Connie, good to see you. Yeah, so this is Canyon K actually says, do you ever want to build an airplane? Would you build like a custom STOL plane, like a Scrappy or like a
100%.
Draco, or is that like on the list for you?
what I really want right now is just a stock Super Cub, really light, no electrical system. That's it. Big old tires and big flaps. But I don't know. There's so many airplanes that you can build right now and so many options. What's your mission? That's the main option, or the main mission.
It's true, but I would love, when you guys finish that RV-8, you should bring it to the next national STOL competition.
My dad won't let me do that.
There was that guy at Lone Star STOL flying the RV-4 around. He wasn't competing, but he was just, I don't know if you remember, you were practicing and he was in the pattern with you, and I was like, what's that guy doing? Just beating the crap out of those spring landing gear.
Oh, yeah. A guy in a V-tail Bonanza did STOL drag at High Sierra last year. It's pretty cool.
Though I missed that. I gotta get this STOL. I have not been to a STOL drag event yet, but I keep trying to get Kevin to let me come out to one. Before we wrap up, I wanted to play a game. Are you up to playing a game with me?
Oh, yeah. Ready to go.
Here's the thing. I gotta make sure I must not have set the camera stuff up right. Did it work? Well, you kind of shifted it. It's fine. No one's paying attention.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, so this game's called Short Final, where all the questions don't matter, the points aren't real. It's just kind of like what's that thing, that Drew Carey thing, but aviation related. So I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions over the course of a minute. And by the way, 72 Papa says you should build a HATS biplane. He's already got the
I don't know what that is. I'm a Boeing guy.
It's a Boeing guy.
That's my favorite thing.
Okay, so short final. I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions. We got a minute on the clock, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Let's go. So I gotta hit some buttons over here. Get that button going. Get this button going. Austin Clemens, time for short final. What's the favorite airport you've ever landed at?
Ooh. Sedona, Arizona.
Oh, that's a good answer. What about favorite passenger you've ever had?
Ooh. My nephews or my girlfriend.
Good, very good. What about, we got to know on the GPS, are you a north up or a track up guy?
Track up, duh. The heck? How do you navigate?
I don't know. Well, a lot of people are north up. I think I'm north up. We'll talk about it later. What about the most underrated? No, that's a bad question. Now I've got it in my head. What's your favorite warbird? Let's go that direction. We haven't talked about warbirds yet.
Stearman, Boeing, PT-17 Stearman.
I kind of assumed that's what you would say. I was leading you to what's the most underrated accessory for STOL flying, and then I realized how dumb of a question that was. I was like, what does that even mean? What does it even mean?
Could be like a USB port or something.
I don't know. All right, guys, before we wrap it up with Austin, if you have anything else you want to know, like what his favorite USB port style is, throw it in the chat real quick. Dude, I just want to say, I know you're on the road right now, and I wanted to say thank you for hopping on and hanging out with me tonight. And I wanted to say I'm excited to see you in like a week-ish.
Yeah.
In the desert.
It's something like that.
So who are you stacking up the competition for what is it, Outlaw? You know who you're flying against yet?
I haven't looked at that yet. It's normally a surprise.
Is there anyone? I mean, because I think what was interesting about this is you said, you were talking a little bit about being for instance, like being competitive against like the Steve Henrys, whatever. And you're and for National STOL in particular, you're in a different class, so you're not even like. It's more of that's like a pride thing versus like an actual like points thing typically. Is there anyone in your class that's like giving you a run for the money every time, or?
Ooh. It's different every time in my class. I mean, my class is, I'd say, can't think of his name right now. But
all right, describe the plane. Describe the plane, because the chat will find you. The chat will figure it out for you.
He's from Texas, Amarillo, Texas. Yellow Super Cub, Aerotech coatings built by Big 35s.
Okay,
Cowboy.
I think I know the plane. I can't remember it either. Just so you don't feel we're in this together now. This not remembering the name.
He replaces horseshoes. He redoes the horsue guy.
Okay, so you got to look out for a horseshoe guy.
He beats me a lot. That's the only one that really can beat me up.
What is that guy's name? I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Because there was a little bit of an upset at I don't remember which competition it was. We were at Texas. One to get. Yeah, it was at Lone Star, right? And there was a little bit of an upset.
That was a different guy.
Okay.
Yeah. All
right. This is bad that we both forgot. But whoever that is, good job giving Austin a run for his money.
Yeah, watch out, buddy. No, he's a super awesome dude.
Oh, man. Someone's going to, right as we wrap this up, someone's going to say, oh, I know who that is. Anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll see if he's there at Outlaw STOL, and I'll be on the mic and be like, that's the guy that Austin is afraid of. Dude, I hope you have a good time at Copper State. Good luck. Go win all the prizes. Fly safe. All that jazz.
All right, thanks. You too.
Man, you and I'm flying your favorite. I'm flying American Airlines. So
at least it says America in
it. That's what I was hinting at. All right, man. Dude, Austin, thanks again. Everyone else in the chat, thank you so much for coming out on a Wednesday night to chat airplanes and aviation. Couple of things you can do since you're stuck around to the end of the show. Make sure to subscribe. A lot of you still don't understand it. because you come back every week, and I love to have you there. That would help me a lot. Like, share it a ton. Sharing is huge. That would be good. And then if you're really into it, we got this cool the SuperAero Squadron on Patreon, where we have a Discord server. We Zoom chat out. We're gonna have a Zoom after party in a little bit, and we just hang out. It's super fun. Everyone's super supportive. Last week, one of the home builders had a problem with his project, and we were like collectively trying to figure it out for him, which is kind of a cool thing to see. So, and again, come see Austin and me at Outlaw STOL next. Well, see him at Copper State, but then come see Outlaw STOL in a week. It's gonna be super dope. All right, I'm gonna sign off. Everybody, have a great night. We'll see you. We'll see you soon.